Okay, welcome back. So you can see that I have my sketch outline completed. You can add some of the lines that define each, like pine cone, leaf, pumpkin, squash. That's completely up to you. And remember, the way you set this up, you don't even need to have this many leaves. Maybe you just want to focus on a pumpkin and a squash or just an acorn. That's up to you. But now we're going to begin to use the chalk pastel. And just to go over again, we already discussed warm and cool colors. Our warm colors that we're working with today are red, orange, yellow, and then our cool blue, purple, and green. But, they're not going to stay by themselves. We're going to be blending them. So why don't I start off with the pumpkin? If you look at the pumpkin, you can see the two main colors are orange and yellow. So let's begin with lightly using the orange just to create a base. What I like to do is I like to just apply a little pressure so we have some color, because then what we can do is we can use our finger or a Q-tip if you have one, or maybe tissue to blend and move the pastel where we'd like it to go. Okay, so just follow the shape of the pumpkin. This gives you a little bit more control. Okay, and I'm going to be brave and use my finger. And you can see how it smooths out. Now all of a sudden, you go from a rough texture to a smooth texture, which is perfect, especially for a pumpkin. Okay, but now I'm looking back at my piece, and I can see that the pumpkin has some yellow stripes that go down its body. So we're going to need to pick up our yellow chalk. And we're just going to follow the pumpkin shape. What I would do, and I didn't do this, I would lightly erase the lines with a kneaded eraser. That way you don't have, you can't see the lines through the lighter colors. Okay, so we'll just ignore that and just want to show you the color placement. Okay, so we have some yellow, little strips that go down up here a little bit. And maybe we want to use a new finger, a new Q-tip. Blend the pastel. Okay, now we can see the pumpkin starting to come together, right? So we have the main colors on, and it's just a process of choosing different colors to work with and blending to make it look more realistic. So I can see that there are some darker shadows on the pumpkin. Well, maybe I want to use the color red to create that effect. Just look for the placement of your shadows. You have a leaf in front of the pumpkin, so then that's going to have a little shadow. Another leaf over here. You're going to blend that in so that you can see the smooth transition from the darkness to the lighter colors. You can see there's a lot of work that goes into this. It still doesn't look realistic. That's okay. We're just putting down the colors right now. We can move on to the stem. We have a brown, nice dark chocolate brown. Just place down the color a little bit. And then, like I said, this is a process, so we'll just need to go back with blending, adding colors. Maybe, we have yellow spots on the pumpkin. We'll add those spots later. But let's move on to the squash. So the squash, you're going to have a darker color green. I don't. So just imagine that this is a darker green. The squash. majority of it is just green, but then it has these kind of paint-like yellow strips that come down. See some of the yellow stripe. Okay, so we're really just trying to focus on staying true to the colors of this still life. Okay. Mixing and blending. Let's blend a little bit. Okay, that's just to give you an idea. And then if we look at the leaves, you know, the leaves have a beautiful variety of colors. You have some red, orange, and a little bit of green, yellow. So the leaves are definitely going to be fun to work with. I mean, let's see. Which one do I want to color? Okay, so the end of the leaf is red. Just a little red applying. And then we go from a red and we transition into a orange. Just laying down the colors, just not so they're not too heavy, but that I have enough to blend with. And then we can add some yellow. Back to some red. Same process, we're just gonna blend. Okay, so you got a general idea. The pine cones we can talk about in class if you're having trouble with it, just because I know that the shape, and then, you know, it's kind of a complicated shape. So I will see you back in the classroom on Zoom.